You know, we spend decades of our lives saving for retirement, right? We're always focused on hitting that one magic number in our bank account. But what if the real key to a happy retirement has way less to do with our financial portfolio and a whole lot more to do with our personal one? Today, we're going to dig into the research and figure out what truly makes for a fulfilling life after work.
We all know the dream, don't we? It's that picture they sell us in commercials and movies. You trade in the briefcase for a beach bag, the morning commute for a morning on the golf course. It's supposed to be this endless stretch of pure leisure, travel, and just relaxation. Basically, a permanent vacation.
And look, it's a great picture, right? Who wouldn't want that? But does that dream of a permanent vacation actually hold up in the real world? Let's take a look at what the science and the data are actually telling us about this massive life transition. And trust me, the answers might surprise you.
Okay, so let's dive right into this first big idea, what people call the retirement honeymoon. This is the common belief that the second you clock out for the very last time, you just enter this state of pure, uninterrupted bliss, an instant paradise. Now, in the research world, they have a name for this, the retirement honeymoon phase. It's the theory that there's this immediate, short-term boost in your health and your happiness right after you stop working. It's a really common assumption. But is it actually true?
Well, get this. A huge study back in 2022 looked at data from 10 different countries, and what they found was that for most people, this so-called honeymoon phase, it just doesn't exist. It's not a thing.
So instead of some immediate high, what really happens is more of an adjustment period. The study found no universal, immediate health boost. In fact, for some folks, especially blue-collar workers, their health actually got a little worse at first. But here's the good news. Positive health benefits do show up, but they're a long-term gain, not an instant honeymoon.
So if retirement is an instant vacation, then what is it? Well, for a lot of people, it's a massive psychological shift. Think about it. That simple, everyday question, so what do? Suddenly feels almost impossible to answer. You know, this quote from a retired teacher just nails it. For so many of us, our careers aren't just a job. They're where we've poured our entire sense of self. And when that job ends, it can feel like your whole identity just got erased. And that can lead to a very real crisis. And what makes this even tougher is that for so many, it's not even a choice. Research shows a staggering 40% of people are actually forced into retirement, whether it's from layoffs, health problems, or something else. I mean, they're thrown into this whole new life stage before they've had any chance to get ready for it mentally or emotionally.
And that can trigger all these hidden hurdles, right? Without the structure of a job, suddenly, boom, your identity's gone. Your purpose is gone. Your daily routine is gone, all at once. This can kick off social isolation, major financial anxiety, and a deep fear of aging, all of which are huge risk factors for depression. Okay, let's zoom in on one of those hurdles, because it is one of the biggest dangers lurking in retirement: loneliness. When those social circles you had at work just disappear, the price you pay can be absolutely massive, and I'm not just talking emotionally.
And this isn't just some vague feeling, you guys. It's a real, measurable trend. Data from the Survey Center on American Life shows a crazy change. Back in 1990, only about 1% of Americans said they had zero friends. By 2024, that number jumped all the way to 17%. Our social networks are shrinking, and it's happening fast. And the danger here, it's not just in your head, it's physical, deeply physical. The CDC found that being socially isolated for a long time carries the exact same health risk as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. Loneliness is literally as bad for your body as a heavy smoking habit.
And yeah, there's a huge price tag that comes with this. One AARP study figured out that social isolation among older adults costs an extra, get this, $6.7 billion in Medicare spending every single year. This is not a small problem. It's a massive public health and economic crisis.
All right, so we've talked about the myths, we've talked about the very real challenges, so what's the solution? Let's flip the script and turn to the science of happiness to see what the research says actually leads to a satisfying retirement. What's the secret sauce?
So, here's the first surprise for a lot of people. While yes, having enough money to be secure is important, it is not the main driver of happiness. The Center for Retirement Research at Boston College found that once your basic needs are met, more income and more wealth don't really move the needle on your day-to-day satisfaction all that much.
This chart right here just lays it all out beautifully. I mean, just look at this. The biggest piece of the pie by far, retiring on your own terms. Then comes being in good health. And way down at the bottom, the tiniest little sliver, that's your income and wealth. The takeaway is crystal clear. Your relationships and your sense of control matter so much more than your bank balance.
So if you remember just one thing from all this research, let it be this. The single biggest predictor of a happy retirement is choice. Just having that sense of agency, of control over this huge life decision has a more powerful effect on your well-being than pretty much anything else.
So let's put it all together. Who are the happiest retirees? They're the ones who chose to retire, who are in good health, and who have strong social connections, like being married, especially if their spouse is retired too. And what's really fascinating is that satisfaction also tends to go up with age, with folks over 70 often reporting they're the happiest they've ever been.
Okay, so what this all tells us is that we need to totally reframe how we think about retirement. It's not an ending, it's not a long vacation, it's a brand new chapter, a project that you have to actively design and build for yourself. So what does that blueprint look like? Well, a huge part of that blueprint has to be the social side. And honestly, Warren Buffett absolutely nailed it when he said this. Your friendships are a critical investment. They don't just happen by accident, you have to actively build and maintain them your entire life. And that leads to this idea that I absolutely love, the compound interest of friendship. It's just like investing money. The social connections you nurture early on will grow and compound over time, and it pays off in ways you can't even imagine down the road. You can't just wake up the day after you retire and decide to make friends. That groundwork has to be laid years, even decades before.
So what does this new blueprint actually look like? Well, here are 4 simple, actionable steps. First, you've got to find a new purpose to replace your work identity. That could be volunteering, taking a class, or finally getting serious about a hobby. Second, ease into it. Consider weaning yourself off work with a part-time gig to make the transition smoother. Third, like we just talked about, proactively invest in your friendships. And finally, number 4, create a new routine. It doesn't have to be rigid, but some structure gives your days shape and real meaning.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to really chew on. It's not about what you would do, but who you would be. If your job title, your career, your whole professional identity just vanished tomorrow, what's left? Answering that question, that's the real first step to building a retirement that's not just financially secure, but one that's truly, deeply happy.